People always say, well, what marketing channel should I use?
Yes, that's the question.
And there's no magic pill, and there's not one answer for every business. But there's one question. Yes, but there's one, you're gonna love it even more. There's not one answer, but there's one question. And the one and only question that applies for every business is the question, where do your customers hang out? Where do your customers hang out?
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's Lynn Podetti here, helping you to achieve time freedom so you have more time for self, family, business, and life. Now in today's video, we're going to talk about how to effectively promote your business in 2021. Now in this video, I'm going to be talking to Franziska Iseli, who is the founder of Basic Bananas, which is a marketing mentoring company based in Sydney, but they serve clients or entrepreneurs all around the world. Now Franziska is an award-winning entrepreneur who is known for her innovation, creativity, and philanthropic involvement. And Franziska is also the best-selling author of 3 books, one which is called Bananas About Marketing, Perception, and The Courage Map, which even have the foreword from Richard Branson. So in today's interview, you're going to hear from Franziska with all her experience when it comes to business growth, marketing strategies, and what it takes to really succeed in 2021. Okay guys, so Franziska's here and we're going to talk about how to promote your business in 2021. So Franziska, I know you run Basic Bananas, so you talk about marketing all day.
Yes, I do.
Are there any changes in 2021 that we should look out for?
Well, you know, when I think about, when you ask me that question, how should we market in 2021? Really, the first thing I would always start with, whether it's 2021 or any year, but now more than before, is start with a really good brand. And we just spoke about branding and personal branding before, but because there is more competition and people are more moving to buy online, I really feel like now is a really good time to really build a strong, unique and differentiated brand. So I would start with that first, backed by a really good product or service.
So even though someone might already have been established and they think, well, I've got a business been running for X amount of time, what do you mean by a brand?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I got an email actually yesterday from a business owner, and he runs a business that provides chefs to come into your homes to cook for you. Amazing business. He's been around for, I would say, him and his wife for at least 10 years. And his question was exactly, he said, hey, we don't really have a brand strategy. I feel like right now with this COVID situation, more people are doing what we're doing. We really need to revisit what we're doing, and we need to revisit how we want to show up, how we want to be perceived. So what is a brand strategy? A brand strategy, we use actually a method that is called the brand alchemy method. That is our framework. We use it at our brand consultancy. You can see it on the wall here behind you. And it is composed of 9 elements. Now, we probably don't have time to go through them all, but the most important thing to start with is your identity. So asking yourself, how do you want to be perceived? Because then you need to, just when we talked about personal branding, we need to make sure that we can then be consistent with that identity across every channel, social media, here on YouTube, in the way that we communicate on our website, the way that we show up at events. It all has to have this identity. So in this case that I mentioned before, this brand is great. It actually is a really nice brand, but it doesn't have this identity that has consistency across every channel.
So is it just the logo or the color of the website, or like what is the first method to go and really get back into identity?
Yeah, it's everything. So it's not just visual, it's also psychological and the way that you make people feel. So it's feelings, it's visuals, as I said, emotions, it's psychological. So in the first question, as I mentioned, I would do a quick framework here. First question is, how do you want to be perceived? And let's just do an example here. So Basic Bananas, as you already know, one of our brand identity characters is we want to be seen as playful. And so we actually did this exercise because I looked at our social media channels last year. We have a social media team, and I looked at it and I'm like, it's good, but it's not that playful. And so we looked at it with the team again, and we looked at how can we be more playful. So you pick whatever you want to be known for and how you want to be perceived, and then you make sure that is portrayed across your channels. Let's say if we say on social media, are the images, do they have a little bit of a playful feeling on them? Do we push the boundaries a little bit? The way that we talk, is it conversational? Is it understandable for people, or is it too snobby? Then that's not us.
Yeah.
So you really, and then what you do, this is a really great exercise, you then look at every touch point in your business. So email signature, the phone, the way you pick up the phone, your website, your invoices, your proposal documents, your presentations, everything. You make a whole list, and then you look at how can I make each of these points more playful in this case.
Yeah. So apart from the branding, what other ways would you be able to actually get your business out there?
Yeah, so nowadays in 2021, we have definitely seen that more and more people are buying online. So any business that doesn't have a great online presence, that doesn't have a great website, that doesn't have great e-commerce functionality on the website, if the product can be bought online, is missing out. So nowadays in this day and age, I feel like, last year has really accelerated everything that we should have been doing anyway.
So people were too slow or too inconvenient to try something new, which was the virtual world.
Yeah.
But it's been around for a long time.
Exactly.
But they were forced to.
Now the businesses that actually stepped into that because we were forced to, and some businesses, they just, and I see these two types of businesses. Some businesses are just like, oh, I'm gonna wait until things normalize.
They're waiting to get back to normal again.
But it won't happen.
Oh, God.
So those are the businesses that are struggling a little bit more this year. And then you have the other type of business that last year realized, okay, I need to really pull my finger out, and I really need to now accelerate my presence online. So definitely, so this year I would say I would 100% look at how can you accelerate your online presence. And then, people always say, well, what marketing channel should I use?
Yes, that's the question.
And there's no magic pill, and there's not one answer for every business, but there's one question. Yes, but there's one, you're gonna love it even more. There's not one answer, but there's one question. And the one and only question that applies for every business is the question, where do your customers hang out? Where do your customers hang out?
That means you even go back to square one and kind of know who is your customer.
Yeah.
Because sometimes as a business, you're kind of like even serving the wrong client, not even, you haven't even attracted your ideal client, and you don't even know who your client is, and serving too many people.
Yeah, that's obviously that's way before we even do brand strategy. We need to know who we want to attract, and then once we know who that person is, we need to find out where do they hang out, and that's the number one question. And when you answer it, I would not just go conventional only. So I wouldn't only think about, they are on Facebook, and they're on Instagram, and they're on YouTube, but also ask yourself, what podcasts do they listen
to? Are they listening to?
For example, that's where you want to be. Or what blogs do they read? Or what associations are they a part of? Maybe you can do a sponsorship or speak there. And what other companies do they work with that you can maybe partner with? You do this really well.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
So just like us, we're chatting and we've been helping each other in the business, is that you're a marketing company teaching marketing, and we're the one that's providing the resources to actually do the work. So that's where that complementary thing is. So what kind of clientele do you work with at Basic Bananas?
So our audience here, we have two audiences. So at Basic Bananas, it's mainly small, medium-sized companies. So anywhere from 1 team member up to 20 team members, roughly. So they're quite small. And then at the branding agency, which is called the Business Hood, they're more mid-sized companies. So a bit larger than that. Yeah. So we get to work with really interesting people.
That is so good, and they're all different types of industries.
Yeah, you know what? We're so blessed with who we get to work with. They're all different types. They're service-based, product-based. They're business to business. They're business to person. It's always person to person anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And just one recently we worked with, actually to do a brand strategy with the Business Hood, was a company that was founded by 3 ex-army guys. They were like at the top they were in Afghanistan and they're doing crazy things.
Wow!
Yeah, I forgot.
And they're starting a business together.
They did. And it's a consultancy to help people with different types of intelligence, corporate intelligence and cyber intelligence, but the core of their business, and this is another little lesson for us to take away, the core and the purpose of their entire business is to end modern day slavery.
Love that.
Yeah, that's the whole purpose. So they're using their skills to do research and investigate, and they use their networks of people all around the world to help people with different types of insights. But at the core of the business, the only reason they're doing this is to help end modern day slavery.
That leads me to the question: do you think that the world, or this day and age, is more important than ever to have a business associated to doing something in life, like a purposeful business, and not just purely, all about profit?
Yes, 100%. I think this is a question we should always start with, and there's this terminology where you say it's for purpose and for profit. So those are the businesses now, and again, this is because our I think our younger demographics, like us.
Yes, we're still young.
Us and below us.
Yes.
They are definitely more interested in businesses that are doing well. Also, it's very, 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 very clear. You see it with all the activists. All the young activists, the kids that are now mobilizing adults to be good, to save our oceans, pollution, etc. They're all very young and they all care more. So I feel like our up and coming new consumers, they care big time.
And I think it's also, if you do align in it, you will have more passion and motivation to get up every morning to really push through the challenges in business.
If you believe in it.
If you really align your business with your purpose and everything. And you can always find that, I think. It's not...
Yeah, because, it's an interesting question, because there are business owners. I've met them and they're great people too, but they just don't care about stuff other than their business and having a nice life and maybe a fancy car. There are business owners that literally, I've met people that just honestly said, when we talk about this stuff, and I'm like, hey, have you heard about the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals? Maybe you should get involved. Some of them are like, I don't care.
I just want
to make money. But then they, of course, if they have team members, they will definitely have team members that care.
Yes. So that's when you gotta, if you're watching this, it's like, find something that you love and that does good in the world. Tell me more about your free workshop, because I think there's a lot of juice in there that people could learn from as well. So tell me more about that.
So we run a half-day session here. So basic brands is all about education. It's a little bit, this metaphor about you can either give someone a fish or you can teach them how to fish. And of course, what's more sustainable?
Teach them how to fish.
Exactly. So that's what our whole philosophy here is. We teach business owners how to fish for clients. So we have a workshop which is a 2-hour session. It's called Blast Off. And at the session, we go through a 1-page marketing plan. So we start off with looking a little bit more at the bigger picture of marketing. So strategically, what is marketing? What's the purpose? What are some of the biggest mistakes? Then we go into the 1-page marketing plan. There are 4 elements to that. They also get the template. And then we finish up with the online ecosystem, which is something everybody needs to have right now.
That is awesome. Now, just the last question. So in terms of all the clients that you've been helping this year, what has kind of been the main challenge or the main theme that you see that you want to, share as a last takeaway?
Given the environment we're in, I think there has been so much uncertainty. And what I have seen is some leaders, whether they're business owners or leaders in a company, do really well in this environment. I'm one that does really well in this because I love uncertainty. I thrive on it. It's my thing.
We're similar.
You're the same. I think,
well, we go harder when it's uncertain and scary.
And my whole life has been like, if there is a little bit, I'm not the biggest fan of routine.
You get a bit bored.
I get a bit bored. So there are people that do really well when there's uncertainty, and then some people just really can't deal with it. But the one thing that I have found is that no matter what, whether you can or not, you always can. And if you have a team, I've found that the one thing, and I haven't maybe always managed to do it right last year, but I'm learning, is as a leader, we have to provide certainty. Because team members generally, I think more people probably than not are not so dealing well with uncertainty. You know, is my job safe, and is this business going to survive, and will I still get paid? What's going on? How are we tracking? So the one lesson that I think I'd love to leave you with is that if you run a business, it's so important to lead with certainty. If people don't have certainty, they leave. I had 2 people leave last year.
Wow.
Which also, and I actually had both of them, took them out for lunch, and I know it was a little bit also my fault probably, or I don't want to blame myself entirely, but one of the main reasons they left is because there was a bit too much uncertainty, because maybe I wasn't always communicating.
Okay, so they just...
And we never have people leave. We never have, so it was a little bit of a shock for us and the team, like what? But it was actually the right decision for both of them. It was the right career move for them, and it was also the right decision for us. To be honest, it's always like that.
I love that. Well, that was amazing. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thanks for coming, and I always feel like we talk double speed here.
Well, there you go. I hope you've enjoyed the interview. And now for me, my favorite takeaway is that we really need to differentiate ourselves from other competitors if you want to compete in this very challenging time in the world right now, or very competitive world. Now, I'd love to hear from you what was your favorite takeaway. So that's it, guys. If you like more videos like this, do check out the other videos in my channel here.